Ever wake up feeling like you could take on the world, but the next day, you can't even find the energy to get out of bed? You're not alone. It happens to all of us. But here's the real question. What keeps us going when motivation disappears? Today, on Self-Improvement, we're diving into a topic we all face, the ongoing battle between motivation and discipline. Which one truly drives success in the long run? We all love that initial excitement, right? When you're pumped up to start something new, whether it's a fitness goal, a personal project, or a career move. Motivation is like a shot of adrenaline. It makes you feel unstoppable. But what happens when that excitement fades? Does everything fall apart, or do you keep pushing through? In this video, we'll explore how motivation and discipline work together and which one leads to long-term success. Let's start with motivation. Motivation is that powerful surge of energy that hits you when you're inspired by something new. The fire gets you out of bed in the morning, excited to conquer the day. It's that feeling when you set a new goal and are ready to give it your all. Sounds great, right? Think about New Year's resolutions. Every January, millions of people hit the gym, start eating healthier, or set ambitious goals. They're motivated. That fresh start, that burst of energy, it's contagious. But here's the catch. How many people are still sticking to those goals by March? Most of us have experienced this. The initial motivation fades, and suddenly it's hard to keep going.
As the famous author Zig Ziglar once said, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. This quote perfectly captures the fleeting nature of motivation. It feels amazing when it's there, but it's not something we can always rely on.
Motivation is great for getting started, but it comes and goes. One day you feel unstoppable, and the next you struggle to even begin. That's the main problem with motivation. It's tied to your emotions. And as we all know, emotions can be unpredictable. Now, let's talk about discipline. Unlike motivation, discipline doesn't depend on how you feel in the moment. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when you're tired, bored, or completely unmotivated. It's the real secret behind achieving success. Imagine you set a goal to exercise every morning. Motivation might get you through the first few days, but what happens when you wake up feeling tired or it's raining outside? This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is what makes you lace up your sneakers and head out the door, even when every part of you wants to stay in bed.
Jim Ryan once said, "Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going." This highlights the power of discipline. Discipline creates habits, and habits are what lead to long-term success. So, which is more important, motivation or discipline? The truth is, both have their place. Motivation is the initial spark that gets you started, but discipline is the engine that keeps you going when the excitement wears off. Think about someone training for a marathon. In the beginning, they're motivated by the idea of crossing the finish line. But as the weeks go on, they face early mornings, sore muscles, and exhaustion. This is where discipline takes over. The marathon runner doesn't rely on feeling motivated every day. They've built a habit of showing up and putting in the work.
As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This shows that discipline, forming consistent habits, is what leads to excellence over time. One of the best ways to build discipline is to start with small, manageable steps. If you try to overhaul your entire routine overnight, you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, focus on small, consistent actions that you can stick to over time. For instance, if you want to read more, don't set a goal to read 50 pages a day from the start. Instead, start with just 10 minutes of reading a day. By setting small, achievable goals, you'll build discipline without overwhelming yourself. Over time, those 10 minutes will become a habit, and you won't need motivation to get started. I've had days where motivation was nowhere to be found. Whether it was working out, editing videos, or sticking to a personal goal, there were plenty of times I didn't feel like doing anything. But because I had built the habit through discipline, I pushed through. And let me tell you, it's the days when you don't feel like doing it, but you do it anyway, that matter the most. John C. Maxwell said, "Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time." This is a great reminder that small steps done consistently build the habits that lead to success. So, how can you develop discipline in your own life? Here are a few practical tips that you can start using today. Discipline thrives on routine. Set specific times for your tasks each day. For example, if you want to start exercising, schedule it for the same time every morning. When something becomes part of your daily routine, it's easier to stick with it, even when motivation is low. Discipline becomes easier when you remove distractions and temptations. If you're trying to focus on work, turn off your phone or block distracting websites. Set yourself up for success by creating an environment that supports your goals. Accountability is a powerful tool for building discipline. Share your goals with a friend or family member and ask them to check in on your progress. When someone else is holding you accountable, you're more likely to stick with your commitments. Tony Robbins says, "There is no abiding success without commitment." When you're committed and have someone holding you accountable, you'll develop the discipline needed to succeed. While discipline is the key to long-term success, motivation still has a role to play. Motivation can reignite your passion when you're feeling stuck, and it can give you the energy to start new projects. The key is to use motivation as a tool to boost your progress, but not rely on it as your main source of drive. When you combine motivation with discipline, you're unstoppable. Motivation gets you excited to start, and discipline keeps you on track. Together, they create a powerful force that helps you reach your goals. Stephen Covey said it best, "The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities." With motivation and discipline working together, you'll find it easier to stay focused on what truly matters. In conclusion, motivation and discipline both play important roles in our lives. Motivation is the spark that gets us going, but it's discipline that keeps us moving forward when the going gets tough. By building discipline through small, consistent habits and using motivation as a tool, you can achieve success in anything you set your mind to. As Napoleon Hill wisely said, "Don't wait. The time will never be just right." Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Start building the discipline that will carry you to success. What's one habit you can start building today? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Self-Improvement for more tips on developing discipline, staying motivated, and reaching your goals.